Hi everyone, today we are going to learn the basics of editing in Adobe Lightroom. Okay, so I'm opening my application and this is the home page that you would see when you first come in. This is not my work here, this is others. So I'm going to go into my library and here is the photo we are going to edit today. So this was pre-edited, so I'm going to take it back. I'm going to go over here to my menu and reset to original. So here we go. Get rid of this bar. Okay. So whenever you are in Lightroom, a lot of times it'll look like this. It'll show your film strip. I always like to take that down when I'm looking at a particular picture. You can also fill it to the page, but that doesn't always show you the full picture, so I always pick on fit. And over to our right is our editing tools. So here we are going to have like our contrast, our exposure, the colors, the effects, and next is cropping. And then after that we have a spot remover, so you can remove things like cars out of pictures. That's more advanced, or remove like people. And here's a brush if you want to edit just a particular area. So if I wanted to edit just this tree, I could use the brush and highlight this tree with it and bring up the exposure, make that tree really bright if I wanted. The linear gradient and the radial gradient, I don't usually use these, but you can make sunlight with them, or just like you can make the picture go from pink to purple. Those tools aren't really necessary for digital photography. So let's go in to my edit tool and let's see. I normally bring my exposure up just a little bit for this one. So maybe 0.19, 0.20, that looks good. And then I'll also do that with my contrast. I do like contrast, but if you want deep contrast, or if you want it kind of grayed out, it's kind of up to you. I'm going to go with just a little bit. Sometimes less is more when you're editing photos. The highlights, you can see, bring out what's highlighted. So the skies or the light in the grass, that's what's going to be adjusted by this. So I bring these down usually, and -9 is good. So the shadows I normally bring up, but shadows are going to be, the darker areas of the photos. Here, this is 100% shadows, so you don't really see them, but that's not really a natural look. The natural look would probably have these around maybe 14 through 50. That's probably still natural. It was a lot darker there when I was actually taking the photo. So whites are kind of similar to highlights, just a little bit different. So these I dim down just like I do the highlights, and I kind of just play around until it looks good. And then the same with blacks, are similar to the shadows. You can make it dark, you can make it light, less is more. So let's do maybe 27. Okay. So this is the initial starting look. I'm going to bring my temperature up because this is pretty cold to me. So if you bring your temperature down, it gets colder. You bring it up, it gets warmer. Typical sunny day range would be in the 7,000s. So let's bring it down to 70 to 50. That is a good spot for me. And actually, I'll just type it in because you can do that here. Okay. And let's see, my tint is already on, so that's interesting. We'll leave that alone. We'll bring our vibrance down a little bit. Vibrance will, make it more of a muted look or brighter look. Let's take my saturation down to, and now we can mess with the colors. So the colors is always fun to mess with, and really it's just going back and forth and what you like. I actually already had some settings set for this, so I'm going to go ahead and apply my settings. You can either scroll or you can type them in. Let's see. It really just depends on how you like your pictures. The luminance of this is orange, so it's going to make my orange in the trees lighter, or it's going to make them darker. And I'm going to actually make them darker for a more folly look. And my yellows, I'm also going to adjust the hue. The hue here is going to make my yellows more green or more red. So we don't want to change that too much because that would distort the photo. But we are going for, okay. So in green I had -18. For saturation, that's going to tell you if it's going to be saturated. So my greens are saturated and now they're not saturated. And I like to desaturate green. So effects are my texture. It's going to look really textured here or really soft. I don't mess with the texture. It's up to you. Do bring the clarity down. Clarity can make things also a little bit rougher or softer. So bring that down and make sure my grain is off. My sharpening is good. Let's zoom into the leaves and see if I need more sharpening. Okay. So here is the initial photo. Okay. And let's see, let's crop it. So I'm going to come down here and turn on the edge of the photo, not on the photo, to rotate it to match the horizon line. And I think this is about even here. And then let's show you with the healing brush, the spot remover. So this is going to take out anything and replace it with something else. So right here I see a white leaf. Let's try to remove this. So I just click on it and then it brings this over here. So whatever is in this box is what they're going to put in that circle where I clicked. So we want to kind of match it to what is over here. And we hit enter, and then I go back to edit just so I can see it, and now the white is gone. So this button will show us the original, and here is the edited version. And I think I might actually want some more contrast in this photo. You kind of just play around until you like it. This looks good to me. Okay, so when you need to save your photo, you come up here and export. It depends on what you want to do with it, how you export it. I export it large, full size, 100% quality. And I save it in a folder. I'm not going to save this right now. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this, but this is how you edit a photo. And then when you want to move on to your next photo, you just bring up your film strip and move on. This is another photo from the same trip. Okay, thank you for watching.